is here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I thought I'd do something different today on radio. Very, very compelling, I understand. Talk about myself. Just endlessly talk about myself. 3 hours of me, myself, and I. No, just kidding. That will never happen here. Let me ask you a question. Have you noticed so-called conservatives in the media, on Fox, on radio, attacking conservatives as purists? They keep bringing this up. The Freedom Caucus, these purists. Brit Hume was slamming the conservatives in the Freedom Caucus. Brit Hume is always slamming conservatives, Tea Party conservatives, Ted Cruz, and so forth and so on. He really likes the Republican establishment, and that's too bad. He really ought to use a little bit more discernment when he's talking about these policies, but he's not going to. This is what he's done for a long time. Sorry, but it's true. I even have some friends in talk radio. There's one piece up at National View online trashing the Freedom Caucus and conservatives. Now, of course, if people knew the backstory that some of these hosts have been working closely with Kevin McCarthy and Paul Ryan and so forth, and briefings and talking points, they would be appalled. But it's not my role to expose everybody. But I just want to educate these fellows who've been around a long time, claim to be conservatives of one sort or another, commonsensical type people. It's not about purity. It's about integrity. Integrity. As my friend Robert Eno wrote at Conservative Review, these politicians made a promise, election cycle after election cycle. They lied. They lied to the American people. They lied to the Tea Party. They lied to conservatives. They lied to Republicans. They lied to the voters. That is the bottom line. They say one thing and they do quite another. And then they try and wrap it up in their old rhetoric, and it doesn't match up. You can't ram through a new massive government spending bill, calling it repeal, in 18 days, and then start trashing conservatives who say, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this thing, and it's not going to work. I really believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we have abandoned the principles and the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, which are older than the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, I might add. We've abandoned them. We're all now status progressives. That's pretty much what we are. The administration says we're going to have $1 trillion infrastructure bill. The Rockettes and the pom-pom guys are all out. And not just on radio, they're supported. Yes, that's what we're going to do. When Obama proposed it, we opposed it. This is about integrity and virtue. I played for you a couple of times last night on radio and on Levin TV. Paul Ryan, his own words, 14 months ago, saying what they were going to do. And now he refuses to do it. Integrity, or the lack thereof. The lack of virtue. All we hear about now is we need to learn how to govern. We all need to get in line one behind the other and have victories. Victories for whom? Victories for what? Bigger government. Newt Gingrich yesterday going on and on about infrastructure. That needs to be the next thing. We need a Trump majority behind infrastructure. Well, count me out. I oppose the Obama majority behind infrastructure. Brit Hume trashing the Freedom Caucus. Donald Trump knew who to blame. It was the Freedom Caucus. says squat about the moderates who wanted even more government. Not a thing. But, ladies and gentlemen, we knew this was what it was after the vote, and now I'm going to underscore it for you. I'm going to underscore it for you. John Cornyn, one of the Republican leaders, senior senator from Texas, I'm ashamed to say. John Cornyn says flatly, this is from the Associated Press, a tweet by Erica Werner, that health care will not be attempted again via reconciliation. Quote, it's clear it needs to be done on a bipartisan basis. That tells you Cornyn never supported abolishing Obamacare through reconciliation or any other way, because obviously the Democrats are not going to do that. So he was, is, and always has been a complete fraud, a liar. John Cornyn is a liar. Not to be outdone, Mitch McConnell, another fraud and a liar. The Associated Press, Erica Werner again. McConnell making clear Obamacare repeal efforts dead. Quote, we have the existing law in place, and we'll just have to see how that works out. Is this a leader? Why the hell is Mitch McConnell the leader of the Republicans in the Senate? Can somebody tell me what attributes he brings to this job? He's not articulate, unless you think a mumbling homeless person is articulate. He's not charismatic, unless you think a doorknob is charismatic. He's not particularly intelligent, unless you think a 71 IQ is up there. What is it that Mitch McConnell stands for? What is it that Mitch McConnell has ever done? Short of fighting McCain-Feingold, which he lost. What is it? His wife is safely ensconced at the Transportation Department, having been safely ensconced at the Labor Department under the prior Republican administration. Between both jobs, became a multimillionaire on a board, cashing out stock options. What is this? So they're already announcing in the Senate. Isn't it funny? We didn't hear peep from Mitch McConnell while this battle was going on in the House. We didn't hear peep from John Cornyn while this battle was going on in the House. You want to know why? Because they wanted it to fail. That's why. They were never going to do the heavy lifting through the budget reconciliation process. They were never going to do the heavy lifting with the parliamentarian or the vice president sitting as president of the Senate. Never, ever. And they just proved it. And the word's been put out to their mouthpieces in the media, in the print media, in the internet media, in the Fox media. Trash the 18 conservatives. Give us cover. Give us cover. Because in truth, we like Obamacare. We've abandoned our integrity if we ever had it. We've abandoned our virtue if we've ever had it. Just trash these people as purists, as naysayers. And that's what they're doing. That's what they always do. These old barnacles who hang around and hang around. They don't really believe in liberty. Liberty is a lot of work. Liberty is a lot of work. And they don't believe in it. I mean, good Lord, I wonder sometimes these people, not just these people, but even more of them. What do you think they would have said about the Revolutionary War? What do you think they would have said in Philadelphia at the Pennsylvania Assembly House, which we now call Independence Hall? When delegates met from the different states and a debate ensued on whether or not to declare independence, meaning an escalation of war with Britain. Britain was at war with us, but some of the states had hoped to avoid it. What do you think? These sunshine patriots, what do you think they would have said back then? What do you think they would have said about the Civil War with all the carnage and all the casualties? What do you think they would have said? We have a battle over a piece of legislation. A disastrous proposal to replace a disastrous law. And we trash the 18 patriots who have integrity and virtue. Still going on today. And now, They advised Donald Trump, from the pathetic Wall Street Journal editorial page to certain pathetic mouthpieces on Fox to pathetic people who write on the Internet, going on and on and on. Now it's time to reach out to the Democrats. Exactly. Because they like big spending. They like borrowing. They like big government, despite their propaganda to the contrary. This is a game to them. This is just a debating event to them. To you and to me, it's real life. It's not a game. I watch people on TV. They don't come to TV with particularly substantive backgrounds. They're not particularly knowledgeable about anything. Most of them have served politicians. They haven't accomplished much in terms of thinking or writing or academics or business or anything else. The same circle nerds go on and on telling us how we ought to live our lives, telling us who we ought to hate, telling us who we ought to like, telling us what's wrong with us. The issue is not purity. The issue is integrity. The issue is when you make a promise to the American people not once but 1,000 times, you're expected to honor it. I know politics is a little different than every other walk of life. You go in a courtroom and you lie 1,000 times, you're held in contempt 1,000 times. You lie 1,000 times on a lie detector, well, you're going to face consequences. You lie 1,000 times on an SAT exam or a bar exam or a medical exam, there are consequences. You lie 1,000 times when you're interviewed by law enforcement, there are consequences. When you lie 1,000 times as a Republican politician, we're told to rally behind you for the sake of the party. They sound like liberal Democrats. This isn't about the sake of the party. It's about the sake of the nation. The Republican Party has lost its identity, and it continues to do so. When you have the Wall Street Journal editorial page, which is the mouthpiece for crony capitalism and corporatists, and the populist nationalists at the White House, and the liberal media, joining efforts to trash 18 conservatives in the House of Representatives. 18 conservatives out of 435 of them. 18. Then you know that we have abandoned our heritage. We've abandoned the heritage that undergirds the Declaration and the Constitution. We've abandoned it. We're now all statist progressives. That's what we are. It's all about government, big government, which tentacles to support, which tentacles to oppose, but the Leviathan is here. It's here to stay. Keep feeding it, despite the fact it's insatiable. After 8 years of one of the most horrific presidencies in American history, trashing the Constitution, trashing any notion of federalism, trashing individual economic rights, we're now told to get along with the Democrats. The Democrats. The radical leftist Democrats led by Schumer and Pelosi. What a disaster. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
This message.
I'm Mitch McConnell, and I'm a fraud. Hey, but you know what? We're going to work with Chuck Schumer. Oh, yeah, we're going to show the whole world we can govern. Oh, yeah, we're going to govern and keep governing. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to increase the debt ceiling. We're going to spend more money. We're going to raise more debt. We're not going to build a wall yet because that's not governing. They won't go along with me on that one. No, we're not going to repeal Obamacare. That's our Mitch McConnell. That's the ad he ran to get reelected. Have you heard squat from Mitch McConnell on Obamacare since he's been elected? You did. Because they passed a repeal bill, a clean repeal bill, and sent it to Obama, and of course Obama killed it. You didn't hear squat from Mitch McConnell the last several months about Obamacare. Not a thing. And now you have. He stood back, watched what happened in the House, and he's thrilled. We're not bringing it up. All kinds of division, all kinds of stuff going on. We're not doing. We got a big agenda here. We got to spend and borrow and spend. Not on the military, mind you. No. We're going to show the whole country. We're going to get more laws passed here. Brit Hume's going to be thrilled with me. Then, of course, as I played yesterday, Paul Ryan, 14 months ago. Go.
It's no surprise that someone named Obama vetoed a bill repealing Obamacare. And we will hold a vote to override this veto, taking this process all the way to the end under the Constitution. But here's the thing. The idea that Obamacare is the law of the land for good is a myth. This law will collapse under its own weight, or it will be repealed. Because all those rules and procedures Senate Democrats have used to block us from doing this,
they won't stop us. No, keep going. No, they're not going to stop us.
We have shown now that there is a clear path to repealing Obamacare without 60 votes in the Senate.
Stop. And what would that be, Paul? What's the clear path that you didn't take? That you told the American people, Paul? Why do you say one thing out of one side of your mouth and then another thing out of the other side of your mouth? So there we have the two Republican leaders. The Speaker of the House 14 months ago, the Republican leader of the Senate to get reelected. Yes. You trust these men? Get behind them. Whatever they say. I'll be right back. Now, I'm not going to spend all day on this. It's too depressing, quite frankly. But I want you to hear Paul Ryan and Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise is the number 3. He's the Curly of Manny, Mo, and Curly. There. Of Mo, Larry, and Curly. Paul Ryan at a press conference today. Cut one, go.
We have an aggressive agenda, and we've been moving quickly on this aggressive agenda. But we want to make sure that we get it right. We had a very constructive meeting with our members. Some of those who were in the no camp expressed a willingness to work on getting to yes and to making this work. We want to get it right. We're going to keep talking to each other until we get it right. I'm not going to put a timeline on it because this is too important to not get right and to put an artificial timeline on it.
Then Steve Scalise. Who's he? Well, he's the Republican whip. Cut 2, go.
To my Democrat colleagues who were celebrating Friday's action, I think their celebration is premature because I think we're closer today to repealing Obamacare than we've ever been before, and surely even closer than we were Friday. So we're going to keep working. This issue isn't going away. Obamacare continues to fail the American people. You're going to continue to see double-digit increases in premiums because Obamacare doesn't work. And so the fact that our conference is more resolved than ever to repeal this law is very encouraging, and we're not going to stop until we get it done.
Really? Well, Mitch McConnell and his sidekick, John Cornyn, just said they're done with it. Did they not just say they're done with it? Because, ladies and gentlemen, look, we have to accept a few things here. Big chunks of the Republican Party like massive, insatiable, centralized, iron-fisted government. They just do. They just do. An entitlement is passed called Obamacare, and they're all in. They're all in. Now, they say, we're in the majority, we need to learn how to govern. It's funny. When we weren't in the majority, they were voting no on Obamacare. Now that we're in the majority, they vote yes on RhinoCare. When we weren't in the majority, they vote to repeal. When they're in the majority, they don't vote to repeal. And Mo Brooks, congressman from the Huntsville, Alabama area, a guy I like. Don't know him, but I like him. He just put a bill in the hopper with 2 sentences, basically saying, we shall repeal Obamacare. And guess what? They haven't even marked it up for a vote. Now, I can assure you if Obama had been president They would have marked it up for a vote, voted on it, and told you in the next election cycle, vote for us. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. That, Mr. Hume, is an integrity problem. That, the rest of the media, is not a purity issue. It's an integrity issue. And that's a problem. We're going to move on to other things, as I said, but as this continues to percolate, I will percolate with it. Or I could do this. I can whine like a stuck pig about the radio hosts. They never give me the respect I deserve, and when my books come out, they never put me on their shows. What am I going to... Woe is me. But why would I do that? Let's go to Candy. Miami Lakes, Florida, Sirius Satellite. How are you, Candy?
Hey, Mark. It's an honor to speak to you, sir. I feel like I'm watching a reality TV show when I see these people come up there and say this and that and the other and then do something totally different. I don't know where we go from here. I wasn't a big supporter of Trump, but I understood that Hillary Clinton could not take the White House and appoint SCOTUS to the highest office. So, I voted for Trump. I liked the way he knocked her out. He was fearless. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's Reince Priebus. I don't know what is going on.
Well, here's what I do know. If the Republicans don't deliver on a number of their major promises, they will not remain in the majority, and we won't hold the presidency. Philosophy aside and all the rest aside, it comes down to integrity. And if you're going to run for office, well, I don't care if you're running as Speaker or Majority Leader in the Senate, when you're running in Kentucky or President of the United States, you promise, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it great, I'm going to do this, and you don't do it? And you're going to blame 18 members of the House of Representatives? That's unacceptable.
Well, I just feel that we're going to need to get rid of these people in 2018. I guess they didn't learn from
The problem is, how do we do it? We have won election after election. The conservatives rose up. The conservatives rose up in 2010. We rose up in 2012, 2014, 2016. We've done everything we can do at the federal level electorally. This is why I've come to my own conclusion that we got to go back to the states, embrace the federal Constitution's Article 5, and work from the bottom up. Because I am convinced, more than ever before, that Washington is not going to fix itself. It's not going to happen. That doesn't mean we don't have victories here and there, we don't have good executive orders here and there, but they're all respites. They're respites in what is an obvious trajectory in the absolute wrong direction. And it just seems to keep moving in the wrong direction. And part of the blame belongs with the Republicans. You know, Ronald Reagan gave us 8 great years. He gave 8 great years for future Republican presidents to build on the foundation that he created. To show how you have massive popular vote victories, massive electoral college victories, how you expand the economy, how you build up defense, how you do these things. And immediately, the Bushes come to town and reverse course. They go back to the old ways. They go back to the old ways. And so, this is the situation. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it, Candy. Let us go to Fred, Manassas, Virginia, the great WMAL. Go.
Hey, appreciate you having me on. Listen, I share your frustrations here. I don't know at this point. We're seeing the Freedom Caucus get thrown under the bus. I'm seeing President Trump sign executive order after executive order just like Obama did. We said we were going to drain the swamp, like you said.
All right, slow down. We have to be discerning. If you sign an executive order that creates a law in lieu of Congress, the legislature, that is unconstitutional. If you're signing an executive order to undo an executive order, how is that unconstitutional?
Well, and that's true.
I'm losing you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
I just don't know who's in charge here. Again, if we're going to throw the Freedom Caucus under the bus, if we're going to drain the swamp.
Well, I know who's in charge. The progressive Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats drive the agenda. The Republicans are so scared of Nancy Pelosi, so scared of Chuck Schumer. Now they want to work with them.
A rhino president at this point, or is he going to deliver on what we thought he was going to deliver on? I mean, I'm lost now.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right, my friend. I thought his speech Friday was superb. where he said, okay, look, this is on the Democrats. We're going to wait this out. We're going to reach a point where they're going to have to accept a deal along the lines that we want and so forth. Then next thing I know, 48 hours later, he's trashing conservatives, conservative groups. I just wonder if his son-in-law and his daughter and the rest of them, the New York City liberal Democrats who are in the inner circle, I just wonder, and the Reince Priebus types, if they just have this enormous influence. I told you all before, I want the president to succeed where he's promoting liberty and constitutionalism and capitalism and all these things, and he's going to have our backing, all of us. And I want Congress to succeed, too, in these areas. But when they revert to the progressive agenda, I can't support that. Count me among the Freedom Caucus. And I'm not going to support that. Brittany, Washington, D.C., the great WMAL. Go.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me on. I just want to thank you for speaking the truth about this, because I'm in Washington, D.C., and just watching this happen. And it is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in my life.
You're in Washington, D.C., which is a sanctuary city. Are you aware of this? The nation's capital is a sanctuary city. You know this?
I'm unfortunately aware of that. Yes, I am. And, in Rockville, Maryland, if we want to move to the subject of sanctuary cities, we have a recent rape in a high school of a 14-year-old by 2 illegal immigrants, which is the most, it's just insane. Nobody wants to talk about it. But
excuse me, they're undocumented aliens and they're dreamers.
I need to add illegal alien to my little black book of words I cannot say. But so the point is just that with this health care bill, I'm watching this happen. I can see the White House from my office right now, and it is the most ridiculous thing that I've seen. You played that clip of Paul Ryan a year ago. And, he was all in with the Freedom Caucus, with, Ray and Paul. Yeah,
let me just interrupt briefly. I find this to be a habit with Ryan. He talks a great game on capitalism and free markets. When he's called me, he tells me, I've read all your books, I agree with them. Well, how do you read all my books, agree with them, and then support crap like this?
And try to sell it as a...
No, you don't. This is the best we Republicans can do. No, it's not the best we Republicans can do, and that's the problem.
You're right. Thank you for, I guess, just bringing this out, because it is ridiculous when you're listening to Republicans on TV, on Fox News, on radio, saying that this is what we need, and it's not right. It's not right.
You know what? I'm sad to say this, as the number 3 radio host in America. I'm sad to say this. I have to shut cable TV off. I mean, it's on for about an hour before I come on the air because I'm prepping, and it's on in the background, kind of. But I basically shut it off. I can't take it. I cannot take it.
It's like watching MSNBC at this point, except for when you were on there a few weeks ago.
And by the way, to their credit, they keep asking me to come on. But I figure, I do Levin TV. Why should I keep going on Fox?
Right. That's what I've chosen to watch these days as well.
Well, thank you. All right, Brittany. You're great. I appreciate it. All right. How am I doing, Mr. Producer? Good on time? All right. Let's take a call. Debbie, Cliffside Park, New Jersey, the great WABC. Go.
Oh, hi, Mark. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
I just want to make a point. Listening to this stuff, I'm just so frustrated. I think we should petition President Trump, and I've written to him before about this. We should have that waiver removed. Remember they wanted the waiver because they were going to have...
In other words, all the members of Congress should have this apply to them. I agree with you.
The staff, are we going to have brain drain? Remember that?
Oh, yes. Well, that would be very painful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what brain?
Right.
But I think they should live under it for, the next couple of years if they want to see how wonderful it is.
Mm-hmm. I think it should apply. I think every damn thing they impose on us should apply to them, don't you?
Everyone equally?
Yeah. Do you know they're not even in the Social Security system?
Oh, yeah, I know that, yeah.
You did know that?
Mm-hmm.
They're not in Social Security. They're not covered by Obamacare.
Yeah, I know.
So they don't give a damn,
in
my humble opinion.
No, you're right. They don't care. I won't say that.
All right, my friend. Thank you for your call. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
April 28th, everybody's rushing, ladies and gentlemen, to prevent a government shutdown. Well, now, wait a minute. Why would there be a government shutdown? Because we have to increase the debt ceiling. Well, now, hold on. Why do we have to increase the debt ceiling? Because they keep borrowing, like drunken Marxists. Well, then why do they keep borrowing? Because they can't stop spending, silly. But why do they keep spending? Because if we don't spend, people will die. Particularly children. Oh. So we got to raise the debt ceiling. Yes, fast. We can't shut down the government. But now, wait a minute. It's been shut down 20 times since 1974. Reagan himself shut it down multiple times to get the budget under control. Forget about Reagan. He doesn't matter anymore. Think FDR. Oh, okay. So we got to really start focusing our political guns again on the Freedom Caucus, right? Yes, exactly. They got to know to get along. Oh. Okay. Well, let's all attack the conservatives, ladies and gentlemen, so we can get that debt ceiling raised, a RhinoCare budget, health care plan passed. Oh, yes. We got a lot of big things we're going to do here. So have you guys heard me talking about the United States Concealed Carry Association yet? They're my latest discovery when it comes to firearms education, training, and self-defense insurance. Now, they're truly changing the game for responsible gun owners like you and me, preparing us for everything that comes before, during, and after a self-defense shooting. They offer thousands of free training videos and articles, have a critical response team available 24/7, and even deliver concealed carry magazines straight to your front door. It is a great organization. Even better, they want to do something special for you, my beloved audience. They want to buy you 10. That is, they want to buy 10 of you. $1,500 to buy the gun of your dreams. To buy the gun of your dreams. So which gun will you choose? A custom 1911? A brand new shotgun? Now, I happen to have a titanium .357 Magnum. I happen to have a snub-nose old-time pistol .38, like the FBI used to use. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. on that show. I have an AK-15. Do you know why I have an AK-15? Because they were going to ban it. And I said, you're going to ban something? I'm going to own it. I've got other stuff, too. I love it. Do you know I never owned a single weapon until Barack Obama became president because he kept threatening gun control? I'm thinking to myself, the hell was I waiting for? Now, whichever gun you've had your eye on could be yours. Thanks to my friends over at the USCCA. Just visit, this is how you do it. Just visit defendthem.com. Defendthem.com to enter for free today. It's that simple. Don't miss your chance to take home the gun of your dreams completely free. Go to defendthem.com right now to get your name on the entry list. Be sure to check out their membership program, too. There's truly nothing out there like it. That's defendthem.com, defendthem.com. And by the way, defend yourself. Yep, that's what concealed carry is all about. John, Frisco, Texas, the great WBAP. Go.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Hey, I was just wondering, why didn't Vice President Mike Pence listen to Senator Ted Cruz and overrule the Senate parliamentarian? Why don't they send full repeal through the Senate? I don't understand that.
Well, first of all, so Mike Lee told us on this program that he spoke to the parliamentarian, and she said nobody's ever asked her what can go through budget reconciliation and what cannot. And that Mike Lee said he felt that she was much more amenable to allowing more to go through budget reconciliation than not. So they never asked her. That's number one. Number two, when I asked Mike Pence right on this program about it, he moved along. He waffled.
Yeah, I heard that.
So, I mean, I am convinced, and I've been telling you this for weeks now, that the Republican Party really does not want to repeal Obamacare. And neither do its surrogates in the media. Just listen to how they talk. Listen who they attack. Suddenly, purity replaces integrity. So there's something wrong with the men, those 18 men on the Freedom Caucus, who said, you know what, we have integrity, we made promises, and we're going to stick by them. Apparently there's something wrong with those people. Now, in everyday life, that's the kind of person you want to hang around, isn't it? That's the kind of person you want to do business with, right, John?
On Facebook.
What's that?
I've been sticking up for the Freedom Caucus on Facebook.
Well, if you go to my sites, there's millions of people standing up for them, quite frankly.
Yes, exactly. Well, your site as well.
All right, Big John. Appreciate your call. Next hour, by the way, Mr. Nunes is under increased, organized, conspiratorial attack by the Democrats, by the media, and even certain Republicans. Or shall I say, Republicans. It's true. Here's a man, Nunes. I don't know Nunes. He's a fairly moderate Republican, is my understanding. He's got he's a temperate guy, level-headed and so forth. Here's a guy who's actually trying to expose something, and they're accusing him of a cover-up. Here's a guy who's actually trying to expose something, and they're accusing him of collusion. All right, we'll drill down on this. We'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Question. Why is the House Intelligence Committee Chairman, Devin Nunes, under attack? What exactly did he do that is unethical? What exactly did he do which creates a conflict of interest? Exactly whom is he covering for? I think these are very important questions. Now, having been the subject of attack for 3 weeks by phony network news organizations, phony commentators, repeating the propaganda of the left and the Democrats, I was attacked because I said these articles, with all the leaks that have been going on for weeks against the president and the president's campaign and so forth, they suggested to me all this surveillance going on, that maybe some of it was illegal, or maybe some of it was questionable, but the leaks were clearly illegal, and they were selective leaks to selective news outlets reported selectively. The illegal leaking of classified information intended to hurt the candidate, then intended to hurt his transition, then intended to hurt his presidency. And I said these are police state tactics, if you will, silent coup. The media, of course, flipped out because the media had been involved in it. Was the media's sources. And it was and is the media that gave these illegal leakers and the questionable intelligence activities during the Obama administration voice, attention, popularity to try and influence the body politic and the American people. So the media circled the wagon. The Praetorian Guard media, as I've coined it, circled their wagons to defend themselves. They pivoted. Now, when it comes to Devin Nunes, they're not interested in leaks. They're not interested in intelligence information. They're not interested in any of it. They're after Nunes. Now, what exactly has Nunes done that requires him to step down or recuse himself or to slap himself on the forehead or what? He didn't work nice with the Democrats? You see this guy, Adam Schiff? You see a more shiftless, pathetic, hack politician have you ever? I mean, he's in a close run there with Chuck Schumer. The guy's been making his own declarations that there's probable cause of potential criminality involving the Trump campaign or associates and the Russians. Really? Where does that come from? Certainly nothing we're aware of. Certainly nothing the committee's aware of. The same guy who ran cover and tried to obstruct the Benghazi operation, investigation, Schiff, the same guy who already has called for the Attorney General to step aside, a special prosecutor, and now an independent commission. Oh, no, this guy's waiting for the facts, isn't he? But we're talking about separate things here. You have the FBI investigation involving Russia. You have the FBI investigation, presumably involving Russia and some of the Trump types. This is what they're reporting. And then you have this, which is completely different. In the case that Nunes has been talking about publicly, the President of the United States and his transition team and potentially his family are the victims. They're the victims. How in the world can the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee be colluding with, conspiring with, or covering up with the victims? The Obama administration put information into multiple intelligence reports with the name of innocent private citizens that it should not have, in violation of standing rules at the NSA. Somebody also leaked information about Michael Flynn relating to another investigation, Russia, or not. We don't know. But the leak was a felony. In other words, the Obama administration, parts of it, aspects of it, were involved in politicizing the collection and the use of intelligence information, leaking to reporters, putting information in reports that shouldn't have been in reports, identifying private citizens who shouldn't have been identified. It is the Obama administration that should be under investigation. Who and the extent to which individuals within that administration were misusing classified information and intelligence organizations as well as law enforcement organizations. The leaks prior to the Nunes information were bad enough. Leaks about the FISA courts. Leaks about a committee of intelligence groups and law enforcement investigating the Trump world and the Russians and so forth. Leaks about how they were going about doing it, collecting information, spreading it across intelligence and law enforcement agencies, on and on and on, almost bragging about it, until yours truly said, wait a minute. This suggests illegal activity, at least with the leaks. Potentially illegal activity with the way this information is being collected, I have no way of knowing. And efforts at sabotage. And the media, of course, protecting its sources, or their sources. Now, the media thought they'd get away with this. They thought they were going to uncover the crime of the century. And if they didn't uncover the crime of the century, it was going to be the smear of the century. The smear of the century. And so they got Flynn to resign, and they got Sessions to recuse, and now they want Nunes to humiliate himself as they try to destroy the man who's done nothing wrong, nothing unethical. There is no conflict. He can be trusted more than any Democrat on that committee. He got access to information as the intelligence chairman in the House that demonstrated that there was an abuse of activity, likely Obama officials knew about it, and involving the now president and his former transition team. And he goes to the president, and they say, you don't go to the subject of a criminal investigation. The president's not the subject of a criminal investigation. And this is not a criminal investigation. And this is not an investigation of Trump or his team at all. somebody put information or some group in intelligence reports that they should not have done. This is an investigation of those somebodies, not Trump and his people. So why would Devin Nunes recuse himself with respect to the Russian investigation when this matter has nothing to do with the Russian investigation? I don't know how many more days I have to explain this, but the media are so stupid. They're so ideological. They're so obsessed. They're such phonies and frauds. You just got to keep kicking them in the nuts every damn night. You got to hit them back because they will lie. And they will try and destroy you, as they are now Nunes. Now they took a run at me, and they failed. They're taking a run at this guy, and let's hope they fail. We want Nunes to do more. They're trying to quiet him down. They're trying to intimidate him. No. We want to know more, as a matter of fact. But here's how it works. The Democrats say stuff, and the media cover it. Here's a nobody by the name of Eric Swalwell. Nobody ever heard of this clown before. Know nothing about him, but he's a Democrat from California. So here's the Hill newspaper. Cut 3, go.
It's time for Devin Nunes to leave this investigation, let alone lead it. So he should be gone. And what we saw was going over to the White House, he went to receive information that, Joe, we can receive at the Capitol. We have our own... All right, so
he's talking to the morning schmo on MSLSD. My correction. Go ahead.
Facility. If this was done the proper way, they could have brought it over, shared it with both members.
No, actually he couldn't, because you're a bunch of leaking sieves. And he already explained that the information is on the executive branch computers, and they don't have computers in the House that handle this. Plus, as I said, you're a leaking sieve. You're a buffoon. Then there's Ed Markey. Always a hack when he was in the House, and now he's in the Senate. And he's on MSLSD today. Cut 4, go.
Well, I think that Chairman Nunes has compromised himself. You cannot investigate a president and defend him simultaneously.
Now, stop. He's not investigating a president and defending him simultaneously. And this has nothing to do with Russia. The president is not under investigation in either case, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make it clear. The president of the United States is not under investigation and under any of these investigations. And in the case that Nunes has made public, the president of the United States is the victim. But Ed Markey doesn't give a damn. Never a man for facts or evidence or coherence of any type. Go ahead.
It's a fundamental conflict. By going down to the White House, he, for all intents and purposes, made it impossible to view him going forward as... All
right, you're another schmuck. Going down to the White House made it impossible for him going forward as an impartial... Where is Jake Tapper, ladies and gentlemen? Where's Brian Stetzer, or whatever his name is? Where's Brian Ross? The morning schmo, of course, he's too stupid to even know what's going on in his own show. Where's Chris Matthews, humiliating himself further? Probably at a local bar, no doubt about it, under the table. Who else? Oh, yeah, where's the L.A. Slimes? Have they figured this out yet? No. They're still chasing the Levin conspiracy. Then we have John McCain on CBS This Morning today. Why is John McCain relevant? Does anybody know? He's relevant because he is the Democrat Party favorite Republican. He loves the cameras as much as Schumer, and he won't shut up, particularly when he's taking shots at fellow Republicans. When's the last time he took a shot at a Democrat? Does anybody know? Cut 5, go.
Well, I think there needs to be a lot of explaining to do. I've been around for quite a while, and I've never heard of any such thing. And obviously, in a committee like an intelligence committee, you've got to have bipartisanship.
All right, you got to have bipartisanship. There you go. And I'm sure you get bipartisanship with the likes of Adam Schiff. This guy is just buffoonish, this McCain. He says what the media want to hear. They pat him on the head and they send him away. This is why he lost the presidential election. He's a loser when it comes to this sort of thing. He just is. He's a great war hero and a pathetic politician. Pathetic. And speaking of pathetic politician, there's Lindsey Graham. I think John McCain once called him his stepson. Let's go. Cut 6.
Well, I think you put his objectivity in question at the very least. Here's what I would suggest, that David go to his Democratic colleagues.
All right, stop. His name is Devin, not David. Devin. And you notice the trend here. Go to the Democrats, have them sanctify what you're doing, go to the Democrats, bipartisan, the same Democrats who are lying about the Russia connection, the same Democrats who are trying to criminalize this investigation, trying to impeach Trump, the same Democrats who are smearing Neil Gorsuch, who are about to abuse the Senate rules once again. Yeah, the same Democrats who will do anything to get back in power. That's who you're supposed to talk to. How stupid is Lindsey Graham? Very. Go ahead.
The information that he was given by this unknown person so they would all know exactly what he's talking about. And if he's not willing to tell the Democrats and Republicans on the committee who he met with and what he was told, then I think he's lost his ability to lead. And on the
right, so he should step down, too. Here you go. Pearls of wisdom from Lindsey Graham. Or as I affectionately call him, Goober. That's right, Goober Lindsey Graham. He's a goober. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
I'm going to read you something that's going to get me in trouble, but it is a very, very limited synopsis of Rediscovering Americanism, which will be out, I know, in 3 months, but still. I hope you're excited about it. I'm really thrilled about it. I mean, I think, as I say, it's the best book I've ever written. And frankly, I've written some good books. I start the book off with this. I often wonder what Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, James Madison, John Adams, George Mason, Benjamin Franklin, and all the other founders would think about today's America. Of course, they'd be mesmerized by all the modern inventions and conveniences of everyday life. But what of the ubiquitous nature of the federal government? Surely they would object. And the cover flap, which was just sent to me, reads as follows. So begins Rediscovering Americanism, a searing plea by #1 New York Times bestselling author Mark Levin for a return to America's most sacred values. In stunning fashion, Levin revisits the founders' ideal of limited government based on natural law, and their frequent warnings about the perils of overreach by the federal government. And he concludes that the founders would be outraged and disappointed to see where we've ended up. Levin condemns the scourge of creeping progressivism and excoriates the statists and progressives for making the founders' ideals less and less achievable with each year and each so-called victory. He shows how progressivism seeks to refute the American heritage and individual liberty and completely overhaul modern life, growing into a government with no limits and leading us into a new age of authoritarianism, far from the founders' dream of a limited government as delineated in the Constitution. Levin returns to the impassioned question he's explored in each of his #1 New York Times best-selling books. How do we save our exceptional country? Because our values are in such a precarious state. He argues that a restoration to the essential truths on which our country was founded has never been more urgent. Understanding these principles, in Levin's words, can serve as the antidote to tyrannical regimes and governments. Rediscovering Americanism is not merely an exercise in nostalgia. It's an exercise in reality. It goes on, and of course the book is much more than that, but I wanted you to have a feel for it. You can get it on Amazon.com right now. You can pre-order Rediscovering Americanism and the Tyranny of Progressivism. I'll be right back. This quote, expect the best, plan for the worst, and prepare to be surprised. And when you look what's going on in our government, the endless spending, and there doesn't seem to be a way out. And they want to have an infrastructure plan with $1 trillion. They're going to increase the debt ceiling, as they always do, because they will not control their spending. They don't even make an effort to control their spending. You look at the massive entitlements. The massive entitlements make up over 80% of federal spending. Did you know that? So they attack the 16% of discretionary spending, usually trying to gut the United States military. But when it comes to reforming entitlements, when it comes to Obamacare, they can't seem to move, certainly not in the proper direction. Now, the Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates. They didn't increase interest rates under Barack Obama, so I believe this is politicized too. Why? All those years, you don't move, and now you do. But that has consequences too. The dollar is at its weakest point in many, many years right now. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. So this massive debt, the manipulation of the currency, you see what's going on the fiscal side and so forth and so on. It's causing people like Alan Greenspan, one of the great economists, to warn us that we're facing, quote, explosive inflation, unquote. That's the worst for which we must plan. And your planning should include gold, so you can diversify. Gold is the storehouse of wealth that every smart investor in government owns to combat inflation, massive debt. And you shouldn't wait. My gold company, our sponsor, Goldline, lets you start for as little as $100 a month. $100 a month. They're open right now. You can call Goldline at 1-877-365-COIN. You've heard me mention that number for years. 1-877-365 coin. Don't you think it's time to give them a call? Get the free risk information, and if you call right now, Goldline will give you, for free, a Ronald Reagan presidential dollar just for calling. Now, when they run out of the Ronald Reagan presidential dollar, that's that. So I want to strongly encourage you to call right now, 1-877-365-COIN. 1-877-365-COIN. Ask them for the Ronald Reagan presidential dollar, but even more, inquire about investing in gold as a way to diversify your assets. As I say, as little as $100 per month. 1-877-365-COIN. It's a great outfit, really is. Always highly rated. Been in business over half a century, as a matter of fact. All right, let's take a few calls here. Here, I have a question. What are the Democrats hiding when it comes to what Nunes wants to disclose and expose and provide we, the American people, with? What is it that the Democrats fear? What is it that the Democrats fear in these intelligence reports, in the unmasking of names, in the conduct surrounding them? Yes. Let us go to... Who should we go to? Let us go to Patrick. Austin, Texas, Sirius Satellite. Go.
Hi, Mr. Levin. Patrick Jackson, Austin, Texas, first-time caller, and just pleased to be speaking with you. I think you've got the best show since sliced bread, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Earlier in the show, you were speaking about Cornyn, and I've been a precinct chair, not this past election season, but the two before. I moved just during this last election, so I couldn't do it. But we've known this for the longest time, and at the conventions and things, and speaking with other people, that when he votes, it's like vote posturing. That's the only word I know to call it, where he'll vote to repeal Obamacare when he knows Obama's going to veto it. But, in a situation like what we had just recently, I don't know how he votes, but if I had to guess, I'd say he probably, was doing the typical Republican thing. But it's not just this, it's every vote he does. So he can get out in front of the cameras and say, well, we tried to make this happen, but we just came up short. Or, the converse,
Well, they have a trick, and that is as they get closer to election time, and we're on to this now, they move to the right, they lie to the voters vote for them, and then they move back to the left when they get back to Washington. Cornyn is an expert at this, Orrin Hatch is an expert at this, and we're not buying it anymore. Cornyn has been looking for a Republican primary opponent against Ted Cruz. Are you aware of this?
Yes, sir, and we're looking for one against Cornyn.
Yeah, well, I'll be more than happy to help, because these guys need to go. Patrick, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you for your call. Roger, Dallas, Texas, Sirius Satellite, go.
Hi, Mark. thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you, sir.
You bet. And when you played those two clips from Marble Mouth Mitch and Nat Ryan, it made my blood boil because I remembered when you played those clips first time around. Mm-hmm. And those two are the leaders from which the dirty water flows. So I'm aiming this at them. I'm out here every day in America supplying it, trying to make a better life for my children and myself and my grandchildren. And I wish you two liars worked as hard for the cause of liberty and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I only hope that someday that you will see the light. And thank you for letting me vent, because I'm just really upset with these people.
All right, Roger. God bless you, my friend. And I don't blame you. Mr. Producer, I want to play the Mitch McConnell ad again that he ran all throughout the election in Kentucky to win re-election. Ready? Go ahead.
As a doctor, I see how Obamacare hurts patients' access to care. As a mom, I know it hurts families. My son has diabetes, and our insurance was canceled under Obamacare. Like many, we now pay more for less coverage. Mitch McConnell is working for common-sense health care reforms. That starts with repealing Obamacare. And Mitch is leading the fight because he cares about patients and families like mine.
I'm Mitch McConnell, and I approve this message.
Yes, you're Mitch McConnell, and you're a fraud. I'm tired of playing the Paul Ryan one from 14 months ago. So I'll hold on to that one, but he does the same damn thing. Just terrible. Ernie, Northvale, New Jersey, the great WABC. Go.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for taking my call. It's an honor to speak to you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
Please forgive my ignorance. I'm just trying to understand the situation better. I completely support the Freedom Caucus and all that they did. Would there have been how much would they have had to compromise just to get the bill through the House and then up to the Senate? I guess that's what I don't understand.
You see, this is the problem with your question. The basis should be repealing Obamacare. If people do not want to repeal Obamacare, then they have to explain to us how it is that they were going to get the majority vote that they wanted in the House of Representatives. See, you've turned it on its head because you're buying their argument. They told us that they would repeal Obamacare. They told us this in successive election cycles. The President of the United States said the same thing. And we're going to create the greatest plan and so forth and so on. The fact of the matter is, it's not a matter of how much would the 18 conservatives compromise the original position that the Republican Party took. The question is, those who have abandoned the repeal, which the 18 conservatives supported, and all of us supported, because that's why we voted for most of these knuckleheads, the question is, how far were they going to push us and those 18 conservatives? Why wouldn't they back down? That is, what is it that they were going to offer the 18 conservatives that would come close to their original promise of repealing Obamacare? It's not what will the 18 conservatives do. It's what the people who are proposing this bill will do, who have already reversed course.
Right. So they weren't going to repeal Obamacare, is your understanding. I'm just trying to understand better.
Yeah, well, apparently they weren't.
That wasn't their intention at all, is what you're saying.
And it's even worse, the deceptive language they use when they're going to support the major tenets of Obamacare. And then they're told, but in Phase 2 and Phase 3, we're going to do all these great things, which they were not going to do. And down the road, we're really going to get Medicaid under control, which would never happen. And we've gotten rid of these subsidies. They just call them tax credits. And I can go on and on and on. The deceit, the dishonesty that was used to try and camouflage this thing in order to force people to vote for it and to confuse the American people was disgusting.
Okay, I have a better understanding now. So it was much better than that it died completely, because it really wasn't anything like it was what they were saying it was, what you're saying.
Yes, but, if you have responsible statesmen, right, the majority leader in the Senate and the Speaker of the House, they should have had a proposal that was worked out months ago, even years ago, ready to go. They also hatched this in secret. Ryan keeps talking about regular order. The conservatives were not involved. They dropped this thing 3-4 weeks ago. Then they demand that it be voted on in 18 days. They demand that the conservatives buckle. The conservatives are on their heels. They're trying to adjust to it. They're trying to recommend some changes which would enable them to vote for it, even though they really don't want to. And they're trashed.
Right. Yeah, well, they've been trashed news a lot
by Republicans. Fox. Yeah, on Fox, which is disgusting. Meanwhile, they're supposed to reach out now, the president and the Republic, to the Democrats.
Yeah.
A diabolical cabal that gave us this law in the first place and wants to give us worse. All right, Ernie, thanks for your call. I appreciate it very much. Let's slip in another call. Let's see, another part of the country. Bruce, Farmington, New Mexico, on the Mark Levin app. How are you, sir?
Good, Mark. How are you today?
Okay.
Hey, well, one of your Convention of States district captains out here have gotten involved in that, and I really appreciate everything you've done. And one question I have for you, I'd like to explain.
Well, thank you for that, for doing it.
I'd like to have you explain one of your amendment proposals.
Yes.
But the question that I really called in for is, in your opinion, we've had crises in the past. How much closer are we to actually losing it here, or are the leftists just so much more virulent sounding than they've ever been in the past?
What is different this time, we're not talking about foreign enemies. We're not talking about foreign walls and wars and so forth. It's what Jefferson and Joseph Story and Lincoln and Reagan and others all warned about. That if America is going to be defeated, it's going to be defeated from within. The voices of liberty in this government are fewer and fewer. And the voices of people who support liberty, quite frankly, are fewer and fewer, even within Republican ranks, even within conservative ranks. And this is the problem. I can't tell you with any level of detail if this is the moment, there's another moment, there's a future moment, but I can tell you I am spending every minute I possibly can, whether it's on Levin TV, behind this microphone, and writing books. You ask my family, 20 hours a day, everything I can to ring the alarms. Not because I'm an alarmist, because of any of these other preposterous names that people project onto me and you and other people. It's because you can see it. When the Republican Party proposes something that's almost as bad as Obamacare, some people say worse, given the spending involved in it, and the conservatives are attacked on the most conservative cable network there is. And the conservatives are attacked in the Wall Street Journal editorial page. And the conservatives are attacked by several at National Review online and so forth. What do you make of that?
Well, it's different in that we've got so much more coming at us now. And again, is it because we're more aware now that it feels...
I don't think so. I think it's because the instrumentalities of government and the culture are in the hands of the statists. Whether it's the media or academia, and I'm talking generally. There are exceptions, but unfortunately there are exceptions. The media, academia, politics, you name it. What do we conservatives control, quote unquote, from an intellectual or philosophical perspective? What do we have?
Nothing but the grassroots right now.
That's it.
All we've got.
But the centralized government has created barriers between the grassroots, the ability to affect what goes on. That's why you have this massive fourth branch of government, this administrative state. They don't care about the grassroots. They don't care about the consent of the governed. They march along regardless. Same with the courts. We have judges who overturned Trump's perfectly constitutional and legitimate executive orders. Well, how do we reach that? We can't.
Well,
all right, my friend, I got to run. I'm up against a hard break. Excellent, excellent questions. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
You know, if you see me on my way to work or a meeting, chances are I'm impeccably attired in one of my many T-shirts. These are the best shirts in my closet. They're the best shirts in anybody's closet. Now, people judge us by the clothes we wear. If you show up to work, a meeting, or a date in a wrinkled, out-of-style shirt that doesn't fit right, well, that's how you're going to be judged. It's time to step up your game, so I got you a special C-T-shirts deal. C-T-shirts are British-styled using the softest, most exquisite fabrics ever. Work or casual, tie or no tie, tucked or untucked, when you're wearing a C-T-shirt, you look great, and you know it. Now, here's the deal. One C-T-shirt normally costs $100. Right now, you'll get 3 C-T-shirts for just $99. That's it. That's 60% off. And C-T-shirts come with free delivery, a 6-month quality guarantee, that's half a year by my calculation, and free returns. Free returns. You can't beat that. And I know you're not going to return it. These are great shirts. I have these shirts. Now, if you hurry, $99 gets you 3 amazing C-T-shirts. Go to ctshirts.com/Levin. ctshirts.com/Levin. That's ctshirts.com/Levin, Levin. You guys are going to love these shirts, seriously. Do yourself a favor. Give yourself a gift. 3 C-T-shirts, $99. That's ctshirts.com/Levin. All right. Let's dig in. Wade, Herndon, Virginia, the great WMAL. Go.
Hey, Mark. How are you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, I just wanted to thank you. I got you guys sent me a book, Liberty Amendments, and I want to thank you for that and point out that although I just started, I'm about maybe 25 pages into it. I love it already because the way that you do things is you not only put forth your point, but from what I've been reading about it, which I love, is like from things that James Madison had wanted to put out, you show other references that Madison used, and you educate people by backing up what you're trying to say with facts. And that's something that I never hear coming from the left. And, you know, I wanted to call you last night. I heard a lot of these people saying this, that, and the other, and you were saying, yeah, you guys refuse to learn anything. And it's so true, you know. And I don't claim to be like an expert on all this stuff, although I am a bit of a historian. Constitutional law is one of my weaker areas of history. I'm all over the place, and
Wade, let me just tell you this. You see books popping up all over the place. They're number one on this list, number one on this list, 3 books a year, 4 books a year, 5 books a year. You read this book, or you're reading it. Now do you know why I can only do 1 book every other year, every 3 years?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I actually do the research, I make the case, I work through it all to try and make the strongest case I can. Thank you, Wade. We'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. Keith Ellison, a.k.a. Keith X, a.k.a. a Farrakhan guy, on CNN today. Now, what's amazing to me is that this guy is not persona non grata. Nobody asks him to recuse himself. No, he came in second to be chairman of the Democrat National Committee. But Nunes, he's controversial. Anyway, he was on CNN today. Nobody saw this. On one of these CNN throwaway filler shows. Hat tip, real clear politics. Cut 8, go.
But if it's a real investment, Eisenhower style, in our nation's in our infrastructure, that is something we would love to talk about, because we've got to upgrade our grid. We've got to upgrade our water systems. Flint is still on bottled water. Flint, Michigan is still on bottled water. We ought to be doing something about getting those pipes cleaned up and straightened out right now. I guarantee you the building trades would be happy about that. So there are a number of ways we can work forward. And they're talking about tax reform right now. We think that there are a number of ideas we'd like to put forward in terms of tax reform. We do believe that an estate tax is an appropriate thing. If you don't have one, basically all you do is guarantee an aristocracy where one rich guy passes it on to his kids and so on down the line. But we also believe that there could be something with a transactions tax. The United States used to have one. Many states around the world have them.
The inheritance tax, so one rich guy can pass it on to his kids and so on down the road, an aristocracy. So you farmers out there, you would have to liquidate your farms, or your children would, in order to pay the inheritance tax. Many states have them, but the Fed's got a big one. Because we don't want to have an aristocracy. No, instead we want an iron-fisted socialist government. Now, you've already paid taxes, ladies and gentlemen, these inheritance taxes aimed at so many of you. You've already paid taxes on the first dollar. You've paid a federal income tax. If the state has an income tax, you've paid a state income tax. You pay property taxes, sales taxes, business taxes, gross receipt taxes, license taxes, whatever the hell it is. And then you die and you're trying to pass what you've earned to your children. This is a natural thing. It's as natural as mankind himself. And the government says, oh, wait a minute. We don't want to create an aristocracy except our own, so we'll take a big chunk of that. I'm sick and tired of these commies. I really am. I'm just tired of it. They know what to do with everybody else's money all the time. And then, of course, he wants a transactions tax. His word, not mine. A transactions tax. What the hell is that? Is he talking about a federal sales tax? A transactions tax? Oh, yeah. They're prepared to work on tax reform and infrastructure. Newt Gingrich is prepared to work with them. We need a Trump majority, Gingrich says. A Trump majority. These guys are raring to go. You open that door to spending. You open that door to tax reform. Let's bring in the Democrats. You ain't seen nothing yet. Think Venezuela. There's no end to this, ladies and gentlemen. There's no end to what the left has in mind. Remember Hillary Clinton said, I have a million ideas, something to this effect. I have a million ideas. We just don't have enough money to fund them. No, I guess not. She can fund her own million ideas. But that's just where this guy's coming from. And he's not alone. You got Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders pushes the same agenda. And when it doesn't work, they'll push something else. Obamacare doesn't work. So their idea, single payer. We all knew it. Single payer government. Medicare for everybody, he says. Now, Medicare is going broke, but Bernie Sanders said just tax the rich. You could take every damn penny the rich have. And I don't mean income. Every damn penny they have. Force them to liquidate their homes, and their boats, and everything else. And you still wouldn't have enough money. But that doesn't matter. Bernie Sanders is a Maoist. That's right, I said it. He's a Maoist. Waiting for the great step forward. We'll all be agrarians now. Bernie Sanders, quoted often by the nationalist populists when they're promoting their special trade ideas. Hey, I have an idea. What? Protectionism and tariffs. Well, we did that. It caused the Great Depression. Hey, don't challenge us. Don't attack us. We know better. All right, whatever. Then there's Maxine Waters. Talk about somebody who should have a bag over her head because she's such an embarrassment. No, Nunes is the guy, you see. By the way, Mr. Producer, is Nunes at least part Hispanic? Do we know this? Would you please look that up? Because I'm starting to think the attacks on Nunes are racist. They must be racist. Anyway, Maxine Waters today on the floor, actually yesterday, cut 9 go.
African Americans have struggled and fought historically. Many African Americans have paid a huge price fighting for justice and equality in this country, have died for it. I don't have to call the names of Martin Luther King and all of the others. We have paid a price, we have fought, but guess what? Despite the fact that America has not always been there for us, we have always been there for America. We have fought in America's wars. We have suffered discrimination. We have suffered isolation and undermining, but we stand up for America oftentimes when others who think they are more patriotic, who say they're more patriotic, do not. When we fight against this president and we point out how dangerous he is for this society and for this country, we're fighting for the democracy. We're fighting for America. We're saying to those who say they're patriotic, but they turned a blind eye to the destruction that he's about to cause this country. You're not nearly as patriotic as we are.
You're a rambling idiot. And what have you done for the country? Forget about generalities and groupthink. What have you done for the country, Maxine Waters? Except embarrass us. Embarrassed us. Nunes is Portuguese. Does that count or no? Is that one of the preferred classes? I don't know anymore. I've lost count. I would think so. Sure, why isn't it one of the preferred classes? And so the attacks on Nunes must obviously be racist. Or you've heard an idiot like Keith Ellison, and you heard another idiot like Maxine Waters. You want to hear somebody who's actually refreshing? Who's actually turned out to be a superstar at the United Nations, our ambassador. And we should be very proud of this. By the way, Trump has had some lousy picks, and he's had some really good ones. Look at Sessions with the sanctuary cities. Look at the EPA administrator. And look at Nikki Haley at the UN. Speaking at AIPAC last night, cut 10, go.
So how are we kicking? We're kicking by, number one, putting everybody on notice. Saying that if you have our back, we're going to have the backs of our friends, but our friends need to have our back too. If you challenge us, be prepared for what you're challenging us for, because we will respond. The next thing we did was we said the days of Israel bashing are over.
She got a long applause, which we didn't play, but she did. And she means it. She's been incredible. Cut 11, go.
So when they decided to try and put a Palestinian in one of the highest positions that had ever been given at the UN, we said no, and we had him booted out. That doesn't mean he wasn't a nice man. That doesn't mean he wasn't good to America. What it means is, until the Palestinian Authority comes to the table, until the UN responds the way they're supposed to, there are no freebies for the Palestinian Authority anymore.
Yeah, well, we cut the applause up, but you get the drift. By the way, I hadn't known this, but I learned it yesterday. This controversy involving Ted Koppel. Have you heard about this, Mr. Producer? Ted Koppel, the washed-up former pretend journalist. Hi, I'm Ted Koppel. Oh, really? Who made a name and a fortune off the Americans who were held hostage in Iran. Boring and monotonous he is and was, and a lib. So he apparently does this interview for CBS This Morning with my buddy Sean Hannity. And the interview is like 40, 50 minutes, almost an hour, and he cuts it down to a few minutes. This is why you cannot trust frauds like Ted Koppel. They're not interested in presenting you with information or the truth. It's a hit job, a smear job. And here's 47 seconds of what Koppel played on CBS This Morning. Cut 12, go.
We have to give some credit to the American people that they're somewhat intelligent and that they know the difference between an opinion show and a news show.
Yeah.
You're cynical. Look at it.
I am cynical because,
You think we're bad for America? You think I'm bad for America?
Yeah.
You do?
In the long haul, I think you and all these opinion shows...
That's sad, Ted.
No, you know why?
That's sad.
Because you're very good at what you do, and because you have attracted a significantly more influential...
Let me finish
the sentence before you do that.
With all due respect.
You have attracted people who are determined that ideology is more important than facts.
Oh, shut up with your breathless idiocy. You have attracted people who are determined that ideology is more important than facts. Mr. Cowpel, have you ever read any of my books? Are you up to the task? You know, I'll tell you what really disturbs me about people like him and the frauds at PBS and NPR and the frauds at what used to be called mainstream media, but I call big status media. They're liberal hacks who pretend that they're news people. They know exactly what they're doing. And they have nothing but contempt for the American people. Nothing but contempt. It was perfectly fine when they were the big dogs. It's perfectly fine when they were an oligopoly. But now that there's competition, now that there's other voices, now we just promote ideology. Well, if Ted Koppel even understood conservatism, he would understand it's not an ideology. It's a belief system. Values. Certain truths. He doesn't even understand American history, the founding of the nation, and what came before. Because he would know that's not ideology either. He has no idea that conservatism at its heart borrows from the likes of Aristotle and Cicero and Burke and Smith, so many other geniuses and great men and philosophers and thinkers, unlike Ted Koppel. Day 412. Yes, Ted. Yes. And I find the apparent IQ of most of the people on network news to be rather low. They promote myths. They speak in shibboleths. They do not do documentary. I'll give you an example. 8 years of Barack Obama. Did Ted Koppel do any show on the abuse of the Constitution? Did he do any show on separation of powers? Any? No, he didn't. Because it's Ted who's the ideologue, ladies and gentlemen. And that's exactly why he wouldn't play the 40, 50, 60 minutes of the entire interview on video with Sean Hannity. Well, Ted,'ll tell you what. We understand why you didn't play it. Why don't you release it so we can all watch it for ourselves? Or are you an ideologue who's censoring information? Are you a dangerous man? I think you are a very dangerous man. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go on offense. Let me show you how to play. I'm calling for Adam Schiff to recuse himself as the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Given the fact that he was such an avid supporter of Hillary Clinton for President of the United States, given the fact that he was a cover-up artist during the Benghazi operation, given the fact that he's demonstrated his unwillingness to be bipartisan by his calls for Jeff Sessions to step aside, his call for a special prosecutor, now his call for an independent committee, which he's actually called for some time. Adam Schiff has demonstrated himself to be a radical leftist partisan hack who cannot be trusted in an independent investigation of any sort, on the Intelligence Committee, quite frankly, or on any other committee. So I'm calling on the Republicans to demand that Adam Schiff recuse himself as the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Moreover, I might add, isn't it interesting that whatever Mr. Schiff has to say is almost exactly what Nancy Pelosi has to say, which is almost exactly what Chuck Schumer has to say. So I believe there is collaboration. Collaboration, that's the word. I believe there's collaboration. Now, I don't know this for a fact, of course. I don't know about the Russians for a fact either, but there sure seems to be collaboration taking place. Mr. Schiff cannot be trusted to participate in a fair investigation on intelligence matters affecting the Trump administration. And I'll further demonstrate this fact. Mr. Schiff now calls for the recusal of Devin Nunes as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee on a matter that has nothing to do with Russia, but has to do with the victimization of Trump and the Trump transition team by the Obama administration. Mr. Schiff has demonstrated he's so far in the tank for the Obama administration, the Democrat Party, and Hillary Clinton, he is simply incapable of being an independent congressman when it comes to this issue. So I am calling on the media, of course, to report over and over and over and over again that Adam Schiff is a liberal who cannot be trusted, in the tank for Obama, in the tank for Hillary, in the tank for Nancy Pelosi, which is exactly why they made him the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, because he's in the tank. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schiff is not fit to be the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. And I look forward to John McCain going on MSLSD and saying exactly that. I look forward to Lindsey Graham doing the same thing. I look forward to Mitch McConnell going to the floor of the Senate and saying that we no longer trust Adam Schiff as the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. I am absolutely certain that CNN will cover this, that Chris Matthews will cover this, spittle and all, that the lib media will be all over this, chasing down Adam Schiff and making the point. Shouldn't you recuse yourself, Congressman? Isn't there a conflict, Congressman? Can you really participate in an independent investigation, Congressman? I'll be right back. Senator Burr, loser from North Carolina, another wimp, asked earlier if he has any concerns about Chairman Nunes, writes the Associated Press, replied, "You need to ask Chairman Nunes." This is the kind of feckless, pathetic republicanism that we have to deal with. We all rally to this guy because we want to control the Senate. And this is what we have to deal with. And, of course, the Associated Press ought to ask all Democrats about Adam Schiff and whether he should recuse himself. But the media are so corrupt, we know that's not going to happen. You know, folks, I don't know if you've joined us over at Levin TV, but we're having a blast. We do real programming, substantive. We have a lot of fun. If you like what you read in my books and what you hear on radio, you're also going to love Levin TV. Levin TV is part of a growing conservative network called CRTV, Conservative Review TV. I am the co-founder of CRTV and Levin TV. These ideas were hatched in my living room a couple of years ago with another gentleman who is a great patriot, I might add. And so we've created a number of programs, including Michelle Malkin's program and Steve Crowder's program on CRTV and Steve Dace. These are great conservatives. And we're going to be adding others very, very shortly. We've also had to work hard, and we have on cutting-edge technology. We have HD TV-style TV. We have the best studios. We have the best audio, lighting, the best crews. We've invested an enormous amount of capital to do this right. But even more, we've had to overcome technological obstacles to make sure that you can watch us. That you can watch us on your handheld devices, on your iPads. That you can watch us on your computers, your PCs, or your laptops. You can watch us on Samsung TV with Roku, as an example, and more and more and more. Now, we want to offer you 1 week free to check it out, to see if you like it. 1 week free, no risk, no obligation. That's how certain I am that you're going to love our programming, particularly Levin TV, I might add. So, all you Levinites out there, I want to encourage you to take advantage of the 1 week free trial immediately. Here's how you do it. You call 844-LEVIN-TV, 844-LEVIN-TV. Okay, it's that simple. And our folks are there right now. I know it's nighttime in a lot of parts of the country, or it's getting late on the West Coast and so forth. They are there right now. Our customer service folks. They'll tell you how it works. They'll get you signed up for the 1-week free trial. They'll tell you how to watch it on your various platforms. We walk you right through it. It's simple. And it is cutting edge. And we're getting around the status media, the Ted Koppels, and all the other losers who are out there who not only disagree with us, but they're propagandists. So please check us out on Levin TV, part of CRTV. Go to 844-LEVIN-TV, 844-LEVIN-TV. It's toll-free the first 7 days. Absolutely free. There's no risk. There's no obligation. And then if you like us, we hope you'll sign up. Let me tell you something. I just paid my cable bill. My cable bill is like $200 and some a month. And I still have the football special on there, even when football's not playing. So they get you coming and going. We don't play those games. It's a 1-year fee. That's it for the entire year, 12 months. Comes to like $8.50 a month. $99 for the entire year. If you're a vet, if you're in the military, if you're in law enforcement, or if you're a firefighter, you get 30% off. Why? Because you deserve it. That's why. Everybody else, the rest of us, 10% off. I'm not even allowed to offer that. But since I'm a co-founder, I'm offering it. 10% off. Just tell them I said so, okay? But get in there and get your 1-week free trial. See if you like it. Tonight's show is a killer on Levin TV. So I want to strongly encourage you to call right now. 844-LEVIN-TV. Let's flood the phone lines. Let's join up for 1 week free trial, then see if you like it. 844-LEVIN-TV, 844-LEVIN-TV. Or if you're at your computer, all you have to do is go to crtv.com, crtv.com. I am so thrilled that we've begun this project. And I also know you're going to love it, as a matter of fact. All right, let me take some calls here. Let us go to this guy. Oh, Scott, Worcester, Massachusetts, on the Mark Levin app. Go.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Levin.
Yes, sir.
Keith Ellison gets a bad rap, sir, because of his association with the Reverend Louis Farrakhan, who has been stigmatized as an anti-Semite. In my opinion, both Ellison and Farrakhan are good and honorable men. You know, I've been listening to your program for a long time now, and you're always bashing the Democrats for tax and spend liberals, but I never hear you really bash the evil and greedy Jewish Wall Street bankers who have really destroyed the American economy.
Hey, Scott, if I could reach through this microphone and pop you in the nose, a coward, a puke like you, I'd do it in 2 seconds. Are you there, Scott?
Yes, I am.
Get off my phone, you creep. He slipped through. Another tough guy. Now, the truth is, we get these callers all the time who hate me because I'm Jewish. We get them all the time. Well, screw them. I'm an American who is Jewish. I believe in this country. I believe in assimilation. This guy's a punk. These Klansmen, neo-Nazi types, yeah, they chase me all the time. That's perfectly fine. What a coward. All right, let's continue. Let us go to Debbie, Georgetown, Kentucky, Sirius Satellite. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Mark?
All right, thank you.
And thank you for taking my call, and I'd like to climb through the phone and punch you in the nose for you.
Thank you,
as
Debbie.
Mitch McConnell goes, he is a liar. He is a flat-out liar. He is spineless. He needs to be voted out.
Well, you're from Kentucky. The guy never seems to lose. You know what he does? He talks about all the bacon he brings home, all the money he brings home. Yeah, that's what he's all about. But what kind of a leader is he? How does he lead us, Debbie?
He flaunts his filthy lies is all he does. And for Trump to put his wife in charge of transportation, shame on him.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, kiddo. Thanks for your call. I appreciate it. Why did he do that? Well, I was told why by one of his aides, and I'm not going to mention who. because it would be easier to get the infrastructure spending through. It's an inside-outside job. You got the husband as the majority leader in the Senate and the wife running the transportation department. Wow. And then we have them working together to get a massive infrastructure bill through. And as Newt Gingrich said, see, the fix is in, folks. All these phony outsiders. How is Newt Gingrich an outsider? For God's sakes, he was in Congress forever. All these people on Fox who were for McCain and then for Romney and then Romney, then McCain attacking. Now they're outsiders. Oh, we're the outsiders. Then you got all these Goldman Sachs guys. We're for the working people on the assembly line. Who the hell are these people? What a joke. And so here we are. Same damn thing over and over again. But there are some good things. I have to say, some of these executive orders are outstanding. They really are. Peeling back Obama's executive orders. And some of these appointments are really great. Jeff Sessions, this guy Pruitt at the EPA, and there's some others too, but at Treasury, the guy sucks. He's a lib. And the big story there is his number 2 guy is out there axing every conservative, libertarian, populist, nationalist, everything they can get their hand on. They're loading it up with liberal Democrats over at Treasury. Why? You got the idiot over at the State Department? I'm Rex Tillerson. Over there, the Exxon guy? Bringing in the Iran negotiator? Hey, you must be pretty good. Let me bring you in. No, Rex, no! Mad Dog Mattis is more Mad Dog than Mattis. Oh, you were the ambassador? You came in after Benghazi? Oh, it's you? Oh, I have an idea. I'll make you the number 3 over here at the Defense Department. What are you talking about, Mad Dog? I like the guy over at the Homeland Security, General Kelly, has been superb. Outstanding. So far, DeVos has been quite good over at the Education Department, I must say. I don't know what Wilbur Ross is doing over at the Commerce Department. Progressivism, nationalism, protectionism, tariffs. Okay, sit down, Wilbur. Now, but there's others. I like this guy McGahn over there at the White House, the White House Council. They got a lot of solid wingers in that office. Over there, McGahn. Who else? I know I'm missing some people. I apologize. Ben Carson at HUD. Honestly, I haven't heard. Is he in the witness protection? I haven't heard from Ben, but I trust Ben Carson. I think he'll do a good job over there. If anybody can, that's a nightmare, that housing and urban development. Over at Energy. Where is Perry anyway? It's the one department he wanted to eliminate. He couldn't remember the name. Then he goes up there and testifies, and he loves it. Now that I've been there, I love the place. The people are great. I'm telling you what, they do stuff I didn't even know. It's a great place. Where are you, Governor? The governor. We don't know where the governor is anymore. Over at Interior, we haven't heard from him at all. What's left? Agriculture. Who the hell runs that? I don't even know. Well, the Veterans Administration, that was a good pick. Let's pick the number 3 guy who was in the bureaucracy under Obama. He'll fix it. How did that happen? I don't know how that happened. But I do like a lot of the presidential executive orders. I mean, they are really great because they are reversing Obama's executive orders. He's going down one. I don't know who's behind that, but I want to thank the president for doing that, and I want to thank the staff that's behind that. Seriously. The president is doing in those executive orders exactly what he said he would do when it comes to regulations and reversing Obama's stuff. He's doing that. He's doing that. And I want to thank him for that. All right. Does everybody hate me now or what? Dana, Branchville, New Jersey, the great WABC. WABC country is wide awake. Go right ahead.
Hi, Mark. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. I've been a long-time listener. I've never gotten through before, so I'm a little nervous.
Don't be.
Couple of things. First of all, the last few days I've been pretty worried and disgusted that the Freedom Caucus has been attacked by, well, I've been upset that it was attacked by Trump, number one, and others. But I don't blame you. I am proud of people like Rand Paul who are standing strong for the capitalist principles that we appreciate. So.
All right. Well, thank you. Excellent call. I appreciate it. No reason to be nervous. Unless you're a Klansman or a neo-Nazi, you damn well ought to be nervous. I really hope Scott introduces himself to me one day. Everybody thinks I'm like 5 feet 3 inches tall, 114 pounds. No, I'm 6'1" and 238. And I will break your nose, Scott. Figuratively, of course. I would never do that literally. No, not literally. I'd never do that. That would be wrong. All right. Let's continue. Where are we here? Do I need to take a break? I think I do. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. Is on.
Okay, I was wondering. Can you believe tax deadlines are looming? Brutal, especially if you owe back taxes. The IRS doesn't mess around, and they're not going to stop until they collect them. Whether it's your paycheck, bank account, even a lien on your home, you need an expert on your side. You need to call the pros I trust at Optima Tax Relief. Optima fights to protect you from the aggressive collection officers. The IRS takes actions that feels like you'll never win. But a way out is possible if you have the right people fighting for you. Right now, there's a tax debt assistance program that's saving people who qualify thousands, sometimes tens of thousands. And no one knows more about this program than Optima Tax Relief. Now, let me tell you about Optima. Optima's not one of these fly-by-night companies. They've been a sponsor for a long time. I know these people. I think they've been a sponsor for 5 or 6 years. They hire the best lawyers, the best former IRS agents. They know exactly what they're doing, and you can put your trust in their hands. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $500 million in tax debt for their clients. Your call and consultation are free and confidential. Let me repeat that. Your initial call and consultation are free and, of course, confidential. So if you're concerned, if you've been thinking you can play this game forever, you're wrong. And the government is going to be very, very brutal about it. I want to strongly encourage you to call Optima Tax Relief. Call 800-499-6300, 800-499-6300. That's 800-499-6300. Tax day is almost here, April 15th. The IRS is going to be more aggressive than ever before. So you need Optima Choice. 800-499-6300. Let's go to Donna, Frederick, Maryland, the great WMAL. Go.
Hi, Mark. I just want to say I'm sick and tired of being called a purist and a conspiracy theorist. These are the left's favorite words to use against patriotic.
But Donna,
Americans.
even so-called conservatives, I call them pseudo-conservatives, call us purists.
Oh, you know what? It drives me crazy. And here's the real deal. We're the realists. We're the real patriots, and I implore President Trump, there are millions of us who've gotten behind him, and to watch his back, these phony people, we know who they are, they've revealed themselves. So it is time to fight back, and I hope he proceeds with caution and gets the job done.
Well, what do you think about him attacking conservatives?
It's unnerved me to the core, because I wasn't initially a Trumpster, but I got him behind him because I thought that he was patriotic and loves his country and would not let the Republicans in name only abuse him, and that's what they're beginning to do.
But let me tell you, I think he's patriotic and loves his country, by the way. I really do. I don't think Keith Ellison does. I don't think Chuck Schumer does. I'm being perfectly honest with everybody. I don't think Nancy Pelosi does. I don't think a single Democrat sitting at that Senate Judiciary Committee hearing trashing our Constitution and American history, I don't think they love the country. But I think Donald Trump, in his core, absolutely loves his country. You agree, right?
Yes. I mean, you know what's really bothering me, though? I just feel like those on the right that we thought we might be able to trust are, leaving him in droves, and it disgusts me to no end.
I don't know what you mean, those on the right. Those on the right have almost no say. Are you talking about the Republican mouthpieces? I don't know that. I don't know that half these people now who are telling him to line up with the Democrats are people of the right. But anyway, Donna, thanks for your call. Ken, Olney, Maryland, Sirius Satellite, quickly go.
Mark, that guy from Massachusetts who said Farrakhan was a good man, I think that might have been Barney Frank. But
no, it didn't sound like it to me.
Look, thank you first for what you're doing on the surveillance issue. Thank you also. I'm a Federalist Society member, so thank you for what you do on judges and the Constitution.
You're a very nice man. I got 30 seconds. Go.
I do want to say on health care, the fact that Nancy Pelosi is dancing in the streets, that the bill didn't pass, look, it was tremendously flawed, but
you're confused. Nancy isn't dancing in the streets. Nancy's kind of waddling in the streets.
Okay.
That looks like a dance, but it's a waddle. Look, I don't judge our accomplishments by whether our enemies are dancing in the streets. They're either accomplishments or they're not. Ken, I don't have any more time. I apologize. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel. I'll see you on Levin TV in 2 minutes, and I'll see you on the radio tomorrow. God bless you.